Welcome to the Life Illuminated podcast. I'm Maggie Kelly, your host, and today I have the pleasure and the honor of welcoming Teresa Wornstaff to the show. Teresa is an intuitive channeler. I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm so excited to share this time with you, Maggie, and excited to see what drops in for us to share with the audience. This is going to be fun.
Perfect, perfect. Well, tell us how you got started. It sounds like it was an early gift you noticed.
It it definitely was. I was born with all of my gifts turned on. Um, Seeing, hearing, knowing, feeling were all enabled upon birth, and it was actually a little bit of how do I navigate this human world with a perception of how I think the world works, which is completely contrary to what I'm experiencing on Earth. You
Mm.
know, outside of this realm, you manifest by thinking of something, or you see somebody and you know that there's an energy exchange and you know that you can connect energetically, and that's the most pure and beautiful way to interact with people. Um, so it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about that. I mean, as an audience member listening to this, how do you know that you were born with all your gifts turned on? How did that occur to you?
You know, it didn't. I just thought I was different, or that I was mm, in the wrong place. That
Mhm.
was a perception I had for quite a while, especially when, I was raised at a time where you let the child cry instead of responding. Whereas now, I mean, you wouldn't do that because the child is communicating through the cry. And so it was very confusing for me. And little things like, and let me preface this by saying I was born into a very muggle family. So not only was there no conversation around energy and spirituality, but they weren't even religious. So there was no concept of God until I got into school and heard other kids talking about it. So, you as a young child, um, I would watch adults making decisions and I could feel the energy around the decision that it was misaligned, that it was going to create more hardship and not the result that they were looking for. Even though I didn't understand all the nuances, the energy was off. Or I can remember being in, I think it was about the third grade, when my teacher lied to me and I went, "You just lied to me. What? What? I didn't know what to do with that. Like, this is a person who has authority over me, makes decisions on my behalf during the school time, and they just lied to me. So, trust gets broken. So I spend a lot of my childhood watching the energies around me, watching the world around me, and then quickly came to the conclusion that I needed to conform. I needed to change. I needed to figure out how to navigate the world based on the rules that everybody else was using. Um, and it's not that I completely squashed or diminished my intuition or my channeling or my communication with my guides, anything like that. But I did relegate it to second place when
Mm.
I looked at life situations and knew I needed to make a decision. So it was interesting to say the least.
Well, it's interesting that you said that you had a moment where you felt like you needed to conform to the way the world is, as opposed to perhaps exploring your gifts a little more diligently at that time. I mean, I kind of have that same story, but in a different way, because
Yeah.
it making the decision to go on a spiritual path as opposed to making a decision to follow the family business cost me my family,
Ah,
in the
isn't that?
whole totality of it, right?
Yeah.
And as an energy healer, and I've gone through the medicine wheel, part of the medicine wheel has you talk to your ancestors. And I actually ended up asking my father, why did you not love me? Why did you not accept me? And his response was, I felt betrayed by you. And it's interesting because it never occurred to me that my choice would make him feel betrayed. That was not a word in my vocabulary until that journey.
Yeah.
But it gave me so much understanding for his perspective, and completely obliterated this old conversation that I didn't belong, I didn't fit, I was different, all that stuff. And it was so healing.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah. And it was
Wow.
amazing, incredibly transformative. And I think obviously the lesson there is, if we have enough wherewithal and support or whatever to be able to really believe in ourselves, trust in our own instincts, trust in our own gifts. It's not always easy because, as you say, the gifts sort of come out and you're like, well, now what? I mean, I don't look like everyone else. I don't sound like everybody else. I don't do what they do. Should I change? Because
Yeah.
I spent years of my life trying to conform to my family and, rise up to this capitalistic, materialistic world that they were living in, and it never felt right. And then
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah.
yeah, and then I finally did my own thing. I didn't realize it would be at the expense of all of them, or most of them, with the exception of my mother. But,
Yeah.
um, the cost would have been much greater had I not.
Yeah. A different life path. And so two things occurred to me. First, I'm going to encapsulate. So I did conform and I spent 30 years in corporate America. And as a matter of fact, my dad would hire me often when he was on a big important project because he knew I could perform and my skill sets and I like business. It's really fun. Which is why I like working with entrepreneurs. I just do business a little bit differently. And um, what I found is I would apply my intuition and my channeling and then go out and find evidence why we should make a decision in a certain direction. So, and it also cost me my family because I eventually left the family business, even though my dad and I worked together episodically. But that choice was made because there was a misalignment of values as opposed to lifestyle or belief system or anything like that. Um, and I think I feel compelled to say this. Our families are our families for our formative years, and then we get to choose them again. It's like a marriage, right? You continually choose the person to continue to walk with them in a marriage.
Mhm.
Same with the family.
Mhm.
And I think it's so important to honor our personal perspectives and values and what's important to us, as well as our siblings or our aunts and uncles, extended family, so that every person can self realize where they're meant to self realize. Because although I've chosen a very spiritual path and the work I do in the world is to empower individual evolution, that's not the calling for them. And they
Right.
get to choose what's for them.
Right.
Um, so it's families. Boy, that's a tough one for a lot of people, don't you think?
Oh, I think it's a rare family that all gets along and everybody is accepting of one
Yeah.
another. I think
Yeah.
for me, the world is lacking tolerance for each other's cultures, religions, creeds, sexual identities, gender, all of it. It's the
Yeah.
lack of tolerance that sends us to war in
Yeah.
uh, actually in real life war or just that in conflict with one another. I think. I don't know, but just seems to
I
me that should we be tolerant of one another, it would be so much easier. I mean, is it any of my business what you do in your bedroom? No. Why
no.
do I want to pass judgment on you for what you do? It's
Yeah.
none of my business.
Or
I've
with your
spent,
body or
yes,
yeah.
any of it. Any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
in a conversation this morning and somebody made the comment. As a matter of fact, I was just making a note before we started our chat. They made the comment that the absence of evil is God. So the antidote to evil is God. And so I ran that through my intuitive filters. Is this a truth for me? Right? Because I can only speak what is true for me. And what I find is the absence of love results in evil and any of the subcategories that fall under evil. So I think you're 100% right that mm, how can we create a world that is more accepting and loving and open and non-judgmental? And I think the short answer that I've come to is I can only control who I am and how I occur in the world and use my beingness as influence by my actions. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. 100%. A
Yeah.
100%. Uh yeah, I mean, being to thine own self be true. And I completely agree with the whole thing's about love.
Yeah.
The
It
whole
really
thing.
is.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Interesting. So when you meet clients,
Yeah.
what is it that you do in particular? Do you just
Yeah, it's a great question. So I work both one-on-one and in a group. I have a 6-month program called The Alchemy of an Intentional Life. And it I channeled this in Lionsgate 2022. It's a series of topics that I work with my clients through to help them evolve into a greater understanding of who they are as a being, as a soul having a human experience. And how can we enhance their intuition, understand who they are expressed fully, um, by understanding what their brilliance is, understanding how they intuit, because everybody does it differently. Everybody has their own flavor. Um, and leading them on a path of greater self-discovery and evolution while providing energy codes, transmission, energetic support, whether it be for their physical being or their home, um, to ensure they're as well supported on this evolutionary road as they can be. And gosh, it's fun. And I work with many, many entrepreneurs or people in the business world because I happen to understand that world well. Having been both the individual contributor as well as an executive, I understand all the nuances of business. So um, it's fun. I'm lucky because I do what I love. And that's what I want every single human on this planet to do. Figure out what is your purpose and start on the journey to realizing your purpose expressed in the world. That's what that's what your that's what your soul wants. That's what the universe wants. That's why you were born, to self-realize and
which
then share your gifts.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing because I'm also a life and spiritual coach. And a lot of the people who come to me are people who are feeling very stuck. That's the word they use,
Yeah.
stuck.
Yep.
And really, it's not about being stuck. You wouldn't feel stuck if you weren't being pulled to do something different than you're doing at the moment. You
Yes.
wouldn't even be a word in your conversation, feeling
Yes.
stuck, because you would just do it. You would
Yeah.
intuitively follow that path. But the being stuck is, I think, should I stay in this job and conform to
Yeah.
this capitalistic, materialistic vision of how I'm supposed to live my life? And, or should I actually do, a 180-degree turn and go that way?
Yeah.
And it takes courage to do that, to actually listen to your intuition and follow it. Listening is the easy part, following it is the harder part, right?
It is. It is.
Um, Go ahead.
And knowing that you're not doing it alone. I think that is one of the essential ingredients of evolution, is to not walk that path by yourself, to have people who mirror your values, that are like-minded, the friends that you communicate with. It's vital. Um,
You are a direct confirmation for an opportunity that presented itself to me last week.
tell
And
me.
it's fascinating, really, because it's a complete shift in
Yeah.
who I am, not who I am, but what I'm doing and where I'm doing it. So to have an opportunity to use the gifts that I have as a spiritual counselor and as a meditation teacher and an energy healer to help heal people in a conscious, sober living environment.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
it requires moving to a different state. It requires shifting all the clients here or letting them go or somehow working it out.
Yeah.
But it is it's a spiritual hit over the head, and an intuitive pull to
Yeah.
say yes. And what's interesting too is when you said, you want to be aligned with the people in your life and you want them to, help you hold space. This group of people is that. This group of
Oh,
people is so like-minded. I've known them for years. It just sort of, how when the universe wants you to do something, if you follow it, it all just falls into place effortlessly in a flow. And that's what's been happening for the last 2 weeks. And it's been absolutely mind-blowing to just, as I say to my clients, just stay on the raft.
yeah.
Just float on the raft. Don't try to steer the raft. Don't get off the raft.
Yeah.
Just stay there, right? And trust that spirit knows what spirit is doing. And even if you didn't have any friends, you're never alone because spirit's there anyway, if you're listening, right? Always there, but you got to be listening and tuned in. So, an interesting thing happened as I was trying to share with one of my friends about this opportunity. Almost immediately, she wanted to throw in all the reasons why it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I need to stop you right there. I am swirling in possibility. I'm swirling and living inside of what's possible for me right now. And I cannot entertain what you're saying to me. I
Yeah.
just can't hear it right now. So can
Yeah.
we shift? And I think she was very shocked that I said that, but it was like, you know what? I'm not going there
Yeah.
because I'm listening to spirit and I'm going to follow that. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to allow my doubting self to enter the picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Maggie, I'm so happy for you. And I'm so happy for the community that gets your support. So congratulations.
Yeah, I think it's really really neat. It's going to be a pretty monumental shift in my life, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm just going to answer the call.
And I want to highlight something that I think it's really important for our listeners to attend to in what you just shared. You exhibited trust, courage, but trust not only in the universe, but in yourself. That yes, this is the information I'm receiving. Yes, this is the direction I'm meant to go. And it's evidenced and supported by what you just shared, the continued synchronicities that fall into your path. No effort required. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to hustle. You don't have to create anything. You simply show up and say yes. And then something else shows up and you say yes again, one step at a time. And the universe is infinite in its wisdom and knowledge, right? So you simply said, "Yes, I trust you. You got this. I'll just keep taking one step at a time." And the universe conspires around you
Mm.
to create all these opportunities that support the direction you're moving. Freaking brilliant. I can't think of a better example than that to illustrate exactly why this evolutionary path is so amazing. You get to do what you love. You get to be happy. You get to be with like-minded people. 100%.
And doing what you're here to do. You're following your purpose as well,
Yeah.
because it's too easy not to. The key though, and I always bring it back to this, obviously I'm a meditation teacher. The key is to quiet the mind and hear, to
Yeah.
be able to hear, because
Yeah.
spirit is always talking. Your intuition is always right, but
Yeah.
are we listening? And
Yeah.
most of the time we're not. We're too busy on our phones or watching silly news or worrying about things that we can't do anything about anyway.
Yeah.
And so being able to quiet the mind and actually hear your intuitive self speak to you is the key, I think.
I agree 100%. And I'll add this additional layer because intuition is something I teach often. Um, and it's important for people to understand that you may not hear, you may feel. You may not see, you may know. There our intuitive gifts mirror our physical senses. What we've done is we've limited them to the physical being. So our opportunity is to expand those physical senses into the intuition and then discover what is your unique brand of receiving information. Like, for example, just looking at seeing, some people see films across the black space in their mind. Some people see images pop up in support of what's coming in through their knowing. That's very common for me. Others actually see orbs in the physical world or beings or any number of physical aspects that want to be known by you. The key is for us to be patient because it's like you said, they're always talking to us, curious, what wants to be known, and neutral.
Mm, yeah.
Don't judge.
Mhm.
Don't say, I'm looking for a sign that this is the answer. How
Right.
about just look for the sign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And it's interesting. I was with a group of half of the people that I spent a month with in Chile, going through the four directions in the medicine wheel with a shaman from the Caro lineage of Machu Picchu in
Mm.
March. So 12 of us of the 20 got together last week in Sedona, and it was incredible. It was 12 shamans in one room in one house for a week. It was crazy.
Wow.
We were talking about just what you said. One friend, one of the gals, she sees vision. The other one feels the energy. And I have more of the intuitive, but I also have smell. I can like smell people.
Yeah,
There's,
that's fascinating.
yeah, it really is. They were looking at me like, you're crazy. But but I'm like, no, really, don't you smell him? He smells delicious. And they're like,
Yeah,
what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. But there's something about this man that is just beautiful.
yeah,
He hits me before he even sits down. So
yeah,
it is very interesting. And to also remember for the audience that we all have these gifts.
yeah.
It's just whether or not we notice and we hone them.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. And that is, I think we have two purposes on the planet. First is self-evolution, and the secondary is to figure out what our purpose is and deliver that to the planet in support of her and our collective evolution. And that personal evolution part, it begins with the intuition. It begins with learning, how do I? How do I intuit? What are my primaries? What are my secondaries? Like, I love because scent, the smell, that is so unique. It's not a gift you see in a lot of people. And I love that you have a deep knowing of how that occurs so that you can mirror it for those who are like, I don't know, I just smell shit. Sorry. And I just smell things, you know, it gives them context and it helps normalize it.
Yeah.
And that's what you and I can feel it, are so invested in, is normalizing spirituality, intuition, so that everybody gets to have the magic.
Yeah, what I find the most challenging, and I'm just bringing this up, I don't know why, but I'm just bringing it up because the most challenging thing for me with some of my students is to welcome challenge
Yeah.
instead of, I don't want to deal with it. It's painful, it hurts, I don't like it, I don't want it, blah blah blah. I'm of the ilk that says bring it on,
Yeah.
because every one of those is designed to teach me something. So
Yeah.
I'm not running from it. No, no, no. Just the opposite. I'm running to it.
Yeah.
So for me, that's probably the biggest challenge with my students is have them settle into the idea that challenge is opportunity.
Yeah.
Every time it's an opportunity to grow and develop.
Yes. Challenges are, I believe life happens for you. Whatever shows up on your doorstep is exactly what you need to take that next step that we talked about earlier. Now, sometimes when we don't listen to the intuitive nudges that the universe and our soul and our guides provide for us, sometimes when we just go, no, 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 I don't hear you, I don't see you, I'm ignoring you, then then they need to get out the two by four. And the two by four is the really hard stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here's the thing. For anybody going through a 2x4 moment, don't do it alone. Find somebody to love you. Patience, curiosity, and neutrality are your three greatest tools for navigating it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can move through the challenge, the gift on the other side is equal in joy to the challenge that you just navigated. So stay hopeful. And that's hard to hear when you're in the middle
When
of
you're
it.
in it, when you're in it,
Yeah.
stay
Yeah.
hopeful, but also I think there's definitely uh, a a matter of trust that has to go to
Yeah.
believe that it's all happening for the greatest good.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. What good, bad, ugly, indifferent, all of it is happening for my greatest good
Yep.
or the greatest good of those around me.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the biggest issue then for most of us, at least in the clients that I see, is two things: inability to live in uncertainty.
Yeah.
But then that also dovetails into the second thing, which is I need to control the outcome, maneuver, manipulate, cajole, figure it all out, have the answer, have it in the calendar, and a buy win.
Yep.
Right. So all of that is the big roadblock
Yeah.
to us doing what you just said, to us
Yeah.
being able to just get on the raft and trust,
Yep.
because we're the ones who
100%.
get in the way. And it's funny, I'm sure you probably heard of Joe Dispenza,
Yeah.
but one of the things he says is it's none of your business how it turns out.
Yeah.
You just plant the seed and you let the universe handle all the details, and for God's sakes, get out of the way.
Yes. Yeah. You figure out your what why. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? Because
Yeah.
what is the thing you want to manifest. The why is the fuel, the emotion, the intensity, the passion, and the universe is going to tell you how.
Well,
If
and
you allow the universe,
go ahead, sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
No, but also understanding that everything you want and need already exists in the quantum. It's
Yeah.
how do I attract it to me? That's all. That's all. It's all already there. The man, the job, the house, the money, the whatever it is you think you need. It's all there. But who are you being that either attracts it or repels it?
Yeah. Yeah. That is okay. I wanna key in on something. Are you willing to receive and retain what you're asking for?
Right.
Because, right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
times we'll ask for something and the universe will go, oh, absolutely. Here you go. Here's what you asked for. And then we go, nope, 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 nope. I'm really not worthy of that. Nope, I can't accept that. So make sure that what you ask for, you can receive and retain.
I think
Yeah.
you bring up an amazing point, because that's the other issue I have a lot of, is that the client, the student who doesn't understand their power, doesn't
Yeah.
understand their worthiness, doesn't believe in themselves. So while they feel
Yeah.
stuck, they're trying to plant these seeds for what they want. But like you say, you have to be able to receive and retain whatever comes your way, but you can't if you don't feel worthy.
Yes.
That's not going to
I
happen.
think no. And I think worthiness is the epidemic that the world is experiencing right now. I think that people's feeling lack of worthiness is the thing that needs to be healed most. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that goes back to your childhood and all of those traumas and things that happen that haven't been healed on an energetic level. You don't, as a shaman, we don't believe that there is disease. We just believe there's sick people. And the sick people are energetically sick. And if we can clear the energetic body, it's not going to manifest physically.
Right.
And
Yep.
a lot of those traumas are traumas and things we've inherited. And some of those aren't even ours. We've inherited them generationally and they're running through our veins. Some of that energetic residual isn't even ours. And we're carrying around it and living it again in this lifetime.
Yes. And that goes back to what we were discussing before and being able to step into our intuition to understand what are the ancestral patterns that are manifesting through me so that I can move into a healed state around them. Because many times the ancestral patterns we don't have an immediate attachment to. Our parents did, or our grandparents did. And so it's easier for us to deconstruct that energy pattern within us and and for those who have children or plan to have children or even grandchildren, we get to pass that legacy down and they don't have to carry it either. So it's a powerful healing for sure.
Yes. And but it always starts with knowing that you need healing. Right? You're not walking
Yeah.
around oblivious to that you've got some stuff that needs some help and some energetic healing or whatever, intuitive healing, whatever it is. Right? Because if
Yeah.
we're not
Do you
aware,
think
we're going to change a thing.
do you think that we ever stop healing? I
I
don't think we do.
I
I think
hope not. Right? I
I
hope.
agree 100%.
Yeah, because what would be the fun of that? Then we get complacent. What, we sit out there by the pool with our feet up and live our life like, okay, I guess this is all there is. Where's my little beach romance?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then we go to that um duality aspect of as hard as it gets, as good as it gets. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm with you. Bring it on.
Yeah. Seriously. Seriously. Um, so okay, so you have this great program, Alchemy of an Living an Intentional Life. You have meditations that you do, you have circles of people that you meet every week, and you're meeting with clients one on
Thanks.
one, I'm guessing.
I do.
Mm.
Yes. Yep. Yep. I have a trust circle that occurs on Zoom every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And you can go to my website, teresawornstaff.com, to sign up for that and get the Zoom link. And it's been going for almost a little over 4 years. And there's people from all across the world who join us. And it's about meeting like-minded people who are invested in their own evolution and in supporting each other's evolution. It's people from all walks of life, executives, entrepreneurs, retired, um, some 20 somethings who show up, who work in the tech world with AI that bring a wonderful perspective. It's a beautiful community, an open invitation for anybody who wants to show up.
And then what do you discuss in those Tuesday circles?
Yeah, great question. Often it's what's going on in our world. How are we feeling right now? What's going on? And how can we support each other? We celebrate each other's accomplishments. Um, and we also offer insight into what we feel, see, know, hear about other people's situations so that we can help each other repackage what's going on in our lives. It's about being seen and heard and held.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
like I need to be there.
We would love to have you, Maggie. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Because I think, that is the harder piece, right? Is connecting with more like-minded people who can hold you and understand you and don't have any negativity to put on top.
100%. And see the best for you
Right.
without it being conditional.
Right.
You
Right.
know, that's important to see, oh, I get you're having a hard time, and I still see the beautiful soul within you, and I'll just keep holding space for you as you navigate this.
Yeah.
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 And it's important to mention it's free. I
Uh,
do this every week at no charge, and I don't think I'll ever stop. It's one of my favorite times of the week.
yeah. Isn't it great when you can connect with a group like that? I have a
Yeah.
Sunday meditation group like that, and they've been coming for 8 years, and
Oh,
some have not missed a single week. And people
wow.
just sort of come and go, and it's sometimes very different from the week before. And it's
Yeah.
just lovely. It's just lovely.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So, what else would you like to share? You have some meditations that are coming up and meditations you do regularly.
I do. Yes. I have a New Year's Eve meditation that I offer every year where you come to the meditation with an intention and a talisman. Could be a crystal or jewelry or could be anything. And we work together through the meditative process. I lead you on a guided meditation to infuse your intention into your talisman so that you can carry it with you throughout the year. I know it's so fun. And again, this is something that 5 or 6 years, it's been several years, and it changes how you navigate the coming year because you're reminded by this talisman of where your heart was and what's unfolding for you. And the other thing that I want to mention is I was called last week to reintroduce a couple of services um, that I've been offering for a little over 20 years, I think. And that is first to work with the energy of your home to clear it and then align it for you and everybody that lives there, including the furries. So your cat, your dog, whomever has access to that space. Um, so home clearing and secondary is personal energy clearing because we don't always see what's going on in our energy fields. And specifically, I was asked to bring it to my audience in support of creating 2025 to be the most epic year that you can experience. Um, and my sense as I have been unfolding the mechanics of this is it will stay a service because I think we need that energetic clearing on a regular basis.
Oh, for sure.
So
For sure.
yeah.
That's interesting. You bring that up too, because we were having a discussion with that group of shamans about this, about protection and the need to protect. Because I honestly believe, with all the energy healing that I'm doing, that even though I do have my own protections, I wasn't protecting myself well enough. And some entity came and literally took me over. Like I knew it wasn't mine. That was the
Oh,
good news, that I knew it wasn't mine. I was
yeah.
I don't know what this is, and just sobbing for 3 straight days and just like getting almost suicidal ideation and just like, what is going on? Where did this come from? It came out of nowhere. So I had already reached out to some of the people I had gone through the program with and said, what do I do? And how, and when we met in Sedona, one of the really gifted healers said, I'm, as an energetic exchange for allowing me to stay with you, I'm going to work on you. And he spent like seven
Yeah.
hours over the course of a week doing cord cuttings and illuminations and decouplings, and then put protection around me and protection around the house. And, it just was very clear to me, this particular entity, which actually I've heard about lately from other energy workers, that this particular energy
Hmm.
doesn't want you to be alive. So the idea that I was having these suicidal ideation thoughts was not a surprise to some of the people that I spoke with. And it seems though that, I obviously didn't have enough protection with the energy clients that I thought I had, because something got through,
Hmm.
and that I
Yeah.
need to do a better job of protecting myself on a daily basis. And we all do, as you pointed out. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And there's certain constructs that you can put into place that will help hold the integrity of your land, of your home, of each room. And there are, thank you, there are beings and guides who are here specifically to help keep your energy safe. And it's re-engaging and permitting them access to your energies in a healthy, boundaried way. And you, we don't teach in school about energy constructs and the construct of our personal energy systems. So, it's hard for people on an individual basis to say, wow, my etheric field's kind of wonky today, or I need to go work on my emotional body, or, that's not the conversation we have. We say, wow, my knee hurts, or I banged my elbow, but we don't recognize that there is so much more to us than the physical body. And it needs care and attention, just the way our physical body needs care and attention. And little things like this is essential in my mind to put a Teflon coat on your energy bubble. Your energy bubble is like your skin. It
Mhm.
contains everything.
Yeah.
So if you don't shore it up and make sure that it's continually replenished and strengthened like you moisturize your skin, it becomes torn and thin and ragged. And then you have opportunistic entities that say, oh, look at the bright, shiny star. Let's go suck on some of her energy. And we don't want that. No, no parasites, please.
No.
So, yeah, it is important for us to self-care on all levels, including energy. And I have a unique ability of being able to work with, um, boy, they're coming in really strong right now, the fairy realms and the guides that we have in our lives who are here to support us. And by having these conversations and permitting them to support you in a way to keep you healthy and happy and on the evolutionary path, and then re permitting them on an episodic basis, like once a week or once a month or once every couple of months, you don't need to worry about things like that happening because you've locked your door
Yes.
and you are cared for and looked after.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
so I learned the lesson the hard way. That's for sure. Yeah, because those few days
Yeah.
were concerning and frightening, really, quite honestly. But at
Yeah.
least I knew it wasn't mine. I knew it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
I was like, this, where did this come from? This is not mine. So that was
Yeah.
the helpful piece to at least to have known that. Yeah, because
Well, and congratulations on being brave enough to ask for help and receive it.
oh yeah. I mean, I went right to the people, the other shamans that we worked with from Chile and just said, what
Yeah.
is it? Tell me, help me. I don't want to
Yeah.
be in this space another minute longer, right?
Yeah.
So how do
Yeah.
people find you?
I am the best place to find me is on YouTube, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I don't Twitter. I just have never been called together. And look for my name, Teresa
Yeah,
Wornstaff.
great. That's awesome. Now, what
Yeah.
would you like to leave our audience with so they will live a life illuminated?
Oh, what I want everyone to remember is close your eyes and receive this. You are amazing. You are the most incredible being to walk in your body, and the world so needs your fullest expression and your full heart. Never doubt that you are important and you are loved.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I got that in the heart.
Good.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I'm so excited to share all of this with our audience.
Thank you, Maggie, for making this possible and for everything that you do. Thank you.
Likewise, likewise, a difference to be made, right? Thank you and I hope to
Yes,
see you again.
that would be fun.
Yeah.